Well, I'm delighted to welcome into the studio with me today, and I don't normally have a live guest very often, but because it's Christmas, I thought we'd do it. I'm going to welcome George Williamz. Morning, George. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you.
Great to have you on. It really is.
Well, great to come here.
Thank you. Thank you for coming to TRE Studios, and you found it okay, yeah?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's amazing.
Well, the reason why I know about this song was because I work with you at Revelation TV. I do some shows there. And then I was invited to come on as the Revelation staff onto your Christmas music video.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to look at the video online on YouTube for Celebrate Christmas, look it up and you'll see me. It looks like I'm playing the bass guitar, but I'm actually not.
Well, you did a very good job of it. Really good.
I was miming it.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about you, George. Where is your family from originally? How long have you been in Spain? That kind of thing.
Well, originally from Uganda.
Yeah.
I was born in Uganda. Decades and decades ago.
I'm not going to ask you how old you are.
No, well, ladies tend to guess. But anyway, I was born and my parents separated when I was 6.
Okay.
And I lived with my grandmother. So, in a way, kind of to get myself, I learned to play percussion from primary school. Yeah. So I started off there and then I went in competitions, music competitions. And because in Uganda at that time, we had school music festivals.
Yeah.
And I won. And so I got scholarships to study and all that. So anyway, and I started teaching music as well. And I ended up in UK.
Wow.
So I started in media, TV, film, and video production. But along the way, I've been basically working in different studios, helping out. And when I got into England, I was playing back in Africa. I had joined a group as a young boy where I learned to play some music, guitars, and I got onto drums. So I ventured into different instruments, and that was my specialty, is playing different instruments, starting from percussion, guitars, and drums, and all sorts of instruments, apart from wind.
Yeah. Wow.
The first time I played a wind instrument, I nearly blew myself away.
Well, people say I'm full of winds, but that's another matter. Excuse my ignorance here, but how exposed? I mean, obviously, African music is just phenomenal, and it's in your blood, isn't it?
Yeah.
And yet, how exposed were you to kind of Western music that you probably know now?
Well, the good thing about it is that being a session musician in UK, as I was studying, that was my main job.
Yeah.
People would call me and I go, and I never even read music.
Wow. So you would be called up and, can you come and play for so-and-so?
Exactly. So I grew up learning music by ear.
Yeah.
So somebody plays a song and I listen to it and I can play it.
Wow.
And that's what helped me, because I would play with people who can read music, but they can't even play because they haven't rehearsed enough, and I'll play. And I developed styles and systems of playing that make it easy for me, but also being able to live in different parts of the world. I lived in South Africa for a while, living in Uganda. I grew up with different styles of music. We normally used to look on styles that came from South Africa, West Africa, and I learned different styles from there. So coming to England, joining up with friends at uni, at colleges and uni, so they helped me to venture into different styles as well. So then I combined all that, and then I become a fusion artist.
Wow.
Because that's what I do. I play different styles. I don't really have a style of...
So I mean, you're happy in quite a few different genres, then?
Yes, okay. Absolutely.
Well, and how did you end up in Spain?
Well, part of the journey in Africa, I met a gentleman called Howard. He was a cameraman for one of the churches, because I was a band leader for one of the churches in Uganda. And Howard came with a church called Cornerstone Ministries to film. He came as a cameraman to film. So, and then he was impressed by the band and the choir. We had a week-long conference. And after that, he said, why don't we record the music separately?
Yeah.
You know, and I said, okay. So I organized the group, which was about 60, 70 people. We organized the group, and Howard came with his camera and filmed us singing.
Wow.
and playing traditional drums, because in Africa, praise and worship is done differently. It's not the same as here, you know?
You're not your British.
Exactly. Nobody sits down.
Rise and
No, there is a party. So Howard got so involved, and he wanted to learn a little bit of it. But anyway, after the filming, he did something weird, because he called me to the side and said, brother, I want to pray for you.
Yeah.
And I said, why? He said, I want to pray for you to come to England.
Oh, wow.
My vision was actually to go to America, because I had already even applied to go for a scholarship to study TV film. Anyway, I was training music in schools as well at that time. And the following year, funny enough, the school I was training won nationally in Uganda.
Yeah.
And we were given trips to travel around the world. And one of them was coming to the UK.
Wow.
So I got in the UK.
We got the best music in the UK. The Beatles, Rolling Stones.
Absolutely. Some of the best.
Yeah, some of the best.
Yeah, when you travel around, you discover quite a lot of different,
Yeah.
So anyway, come to England, and we hooked up together, and I ended up staying in England and studying.
Yeah.
And then we worked together in television. So we've been together almost since we met, probably just about 30 years.
Wow.
So we've been working together in
yeah.
television, but also doing a little bit of music. So when Howard, we were working together where Revelations TV was started in UK. But then about probably 13, 14 years ago, he wanted to move the studios to Spain.
Yeah.
He came to Spain, looked around, and discovered, and as he was doing so, he thought that probably the best person to bring as, kind of the underdog to check the studios and help getting things started was me. So I came over. He tried to entice me for about 3 years.
Yeah.
And I said, no, Spain is not for me. First of all, I'm a black guy. I don't like the sunshine. Secondly, I don't even speak the language.
Neither do I.
Exactly. What do you expect me to do? So he enticed me with a nice holiday.
Yeah.
Brought me over and took me to all the best places. He was very good and cheeky.
But he was, yeah.
Yeah, he took me to all the best places, and at the end, he kept quiet.
Yeah.
And then he called me after I went back to England. I remember the day
Let's leave him there for a few days. Let him have some rain and cold in England.
Exactly.
And then I'll call him back.
I remember the day I arrived at the airport. It was so nice and sunny here.
Yeah.
And by the time I got to the airport, it was freezing cold. I get out, and it reminds me. So then after a few days, he calls me and said, now, have you thought about it? I said, okay, you're right. So I packed my bags and came. So I've been here for about 11 years now.
Brilliant. Well, listen, we're going to play the song Celebrate Christmas, and then we're going to come back, just talk a little bit about the song before we let you go. But let's play this one. It's Celebrate Christmas by George Williamz. It's available on Spotify, Apple Music, all the usual places you get your music from. So have a listen to this. And if you go on YouTube, you will see yours truly as well, miming the bass guitar with Howard on there as well. Howard miming as well.
And it's George Williamz with a Z as well. Yeah.
Yes. So George Williamz with a Z at the end, not an S. So here we go. Celebrate Christmas on TRE.
The Son of God to rule the world in truth and grace. Christ was born in a manger as the shepherds watched their flocks nearby. The angel of the Lord brought the good news. It is time to rejoice. Christ is born. So God tell everybody, let's sing with joy, the King is here. He is the Messiah. Christ is born. When His kingdom will reign forever. Let's sing with joy, the King is here. It is Christmas. Merry
want to sing along?
Sing the joy.
Go on. Merry Christmas.
This is the time of the year to spread a message of hope. Everywhere in the world, we are celebrating the King of Kings. Even those that won't find a moment to pray. To everyone feeling low, good tidings to bring.
I'm glad you remember the words.
In a manger, mighty Savior of the world.
I really love the song. What are you doing for Christmas?
Well, I'm staying with family.
Yeah.
Here in Spain, we have a culture of getting together, all the families. We tend to basically rent a bigger house or a villa or something like that and get together and then chill out.
So are you got Spanish family?
Yes,
Oh, wow.
my wife is Spanish. And,
Fantastic.
Yeah.
See, I didn't know that. I've known you all this time and I still didn't know that about you.
yeah, that's how I learned Spanish. So now I'm teaching it to the person who invited
So
me
your
to Spain.
Spanish is really good, yeah? So you're teaching Howard Spanish.
I should say, I love you when you do your Spanish lessons in the morning.
I've still not learned anything yet. As a regular listener to the show, aren't you?
Yeah.
What about this song? Because it's got a real, I think, reggae feel to it, obviously.
Yeah.
A bit Bob Marley-esque. I love reggae music, so that for me is just... but it's kind of like a little bit of similar to, and I suppose you've never had this comparison before.
Yeah.
Bing Crosby singing Melikilikimaka when you go to Hawaii and sing a Christmas song about Hawaii.
Yeah.
This is kind of like taking a Christmas song and bringing the sunshine into
Absolutely. Well, reggae kind of rings with sunshine as well. You know, a lot of people relate it to sunshine and enjoy and happiness.
Yeah.
Even though there are reggae songs that can be quite sad as well.
Yeah.
But the idea of the song actually came about 20 years ago. That song is very old.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Wow.
it's over 20 years ago. I composed it and put it somewhere and hid it.
Yeah.
But recently, last year, I decided to bring it up because I wanted to do something for Christmas. Seeing around the world what is happening, I had to even change the lyrics to try and match up with what is. If you listen to the last part of it, it says that even people at war also find a moment to pray, because what is going on around the world is scaring for everybody.
Yeah.
So this song is meant to bring a little bit of hope and rejoicing for Christmas, and also remind us of the birth of Christ. And
yeah, absolutely.
Of course, so we can all celebrate together, and that's why the last lyrics say that, tell your mom and papa that it's party tonight, which I believe Christmas is for most families,
Yeah.
The kids look around, especially here in Spain, they like what they call turron masapan, which is a sweet.
We're talking about that later.
Absolutely. So, that it's to bring a little bit of joy and a little bit of hope to the people.
And it's out on Spotify, Apple Music, and all those places. Do you know how well it's doing? Is there any way of looking at how many views you have, that sort of thing?
Yes.
Is it going down quite well?
Yes, I can see the statistics, and it's been received quite well, especially social media. As you know,
you're not going to beat Cliff Richard, though, are you?
Well,
do you know what? It's really interesting, because I know you're Christian faith and so on. Stormzy's number one in the charts. He's got a song about the Holy Spirit, and Cliff Richard's number two in the album charts, and he's got a song about Jesus being the heart of Christmas.
Exactly.
So I thought it's quite good.
Well, when things are not going right, that's when people remember Christ.
Exactly,
So now the entire world is scared how people are going to live through the winters and all that. It tends to kind of bring them back to Christ, a little bit closer.
I know one thing, this song is bringing a bit of sunshine into a cold winter for us. Not that we need it here, we got the sunshine here in Spain, but George, thank you for coming on. Really appreciate your time with us this morning.
Thank you so much for inviting me as well.
We're going to hear a bit more of the song, and look it up on Spotify. George Williamz with a Z at the end.
Yeah, and also they can find me on my website, which is GeorgeWilliams with a Z.com.
Lovely. Thank you, George. Have a very Merry Christmas, and we'll speak to you in the new year. Thank you.
Thank you.
George Williamz there, and we'll play a little bit more of this song as I say goodbye to him, and then we'll come back with some news headlines and some business news here on Daybreak.
got the whole world on his shoulder.
The whole world in his hands.
The only savior of mankind.
Okay, there we go. Fantastic. There we go. Lovely. Hi, Dave. Thank you for bringing George. It's great to hear someone on TRE from my homeland, Burundi. Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much. Best Christmas song so far from Sam. Brilliant. That's great. Lovely stuff. Thank you.